case, I'm still trying to get used to some of this, and I've been hearing lots of complaints I don't put the little screen in the bottom corner. So I'm going to try this with a reaction video to how the WWE should book WrestleMania.
Everything burgery tasty.
It's Texas. They're going to be made fun of a lot. Probably turn off the ads. The ads like an inception of ads.
Hello there, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is how WWE should book, where I take an angle from now to the future, then challenge WWE to do it better, because I'm a smartass. This time around, how WWE should book WrestleMania 32. Yep, the whole thing. Oh god. So WrestleMania 32, or Shoulder Injury the Musical, is a weird thing for WWE. I feel something towards them that I haven't felt in a very long time. They are the underdogs going into this situation. That is unheard of for WWE. They're the biggest game in town, yet because so much of their top stars are injured, look, here they are, here they all are. It feels like their main event scene is utterly compromised to the point where they've really had to get this card together with sellotape and just try to make the best of it. So let's root for WWE. I'm sure they had the best laid plans, but fate has given them a huge sloppy stink face. So, out of the remaining ingredients, here's what I would do. WWE, do it better.
So we start
Number one, the pre-show matches. I hate the pre-show. I really think you should be able to fit about 2 hours of wrestling onto a 4-hour show without, say, 20-minute concerts from Flow Rider and Triple H's entrances being a Valkyrie rock opera. But I digress. Pre-show matches. First up is a fatal 4-way elimination match between Naomi, Becky Lynch, Natalya, and Paige. And this is for the #1 contendership for the Divas title, because I like it when matches mean something. So these are the 4 best women on the roster who aren't Sasha, and they all deserve a spot on the WrestleMania card. And while it would seem natural to just straight away give this to Becky, not so fast. Now the thing is, there will be loads more matches with Becky Lynch challenging for the Divas title, and let's build up the 4 horsewomen match for SummerSlam, but until that point, let's add a little bit of depth to the roster and make other people seem like main event contenders. And so the winner of this match
I actually like the way
is Naomi. Now we've seen recently that they are building this feud between Sasha and her Team Bad cohorts. Sasha's left Team Bad, and they're feeling a little bit grumpy about this. So I would have Paige eliminate Natalya, I would have Becky eliminate Paige, then I would have Naomi use a distraction from Tamina to clock Becky and lock in a brand new submission finisher so that everyone forgets that her original finisher was the goddamn rear view. She hits people with her bum. This then sets Naomi, who is really underrated by the way, on a collision course with the new Divas champion, Sasha. Spoilers. Next up, another fatal 4-way elimination match, this time a tag match for the #1 contendership for the tag team titles. If you're gonna have a pre-show, why not link it all together thematically? And this is the Wyatts in the form of Eric Rowan and Luke Harper versus the Usos versus the Dudleys versus Sheamus and Rusev. The Wyatts win this, last eliminating the Usos to give them momentum going into their match with Brock Lesnar. Also spoilers. Okay, so we have the main show, we have the national anthem, God Save Our Great... What national anthem are you talking about? Sung by, I don't know, Nicki Minaj or Flow Rider or someone. Then we have the opening video package, which is about Texas and everything burgery tasty, bit derby doo, de dum de... What am I doing? So we start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, and basically these guys are in the ring. Look at all these mid-carders. And then we get to the people who actually get entrances, and they are Ryback.
Of course, it's an old photo. Now he just be there in black trunks with "Feed Me More" across his butt.
Then we get Demon Kane. Why not? He deserves it. Then we get last year's winner, The Big Show. Well, it's the big... Then, hallelujah, that will get a pop. I guarantee it. Where is Damien Sandow? Bring him back. And then finally, Daniel Bryan's music hits. Now, I know. To let you know, this video is being filmed on the 9th of February. I know lots changed, so just go with me. And we've just seen Daniel Bryan retire. Now, obviously, the crowd will go crazy, but he comes out wearing a tuxedo, so everyone's like, oh, okay, he's not wrestling. Daniel Bryan is there to say, I've met a lot of people in the wrestling business, a lot of people who are amazing human beings, and this guy is not only a brilliant dude, but he is the next big top WWE superstar. He is my official endorsement. Please welcome to the stage, Sami Zayn. Because passing the torch from Daniel Bryan to Sami Zayn, the most likeable man in the world, to the next most likeable man in the world, it just makes sense to me. So out comes Sami Zayn, let's go! And he comes down to the ring and everyone is really happy, and he does that on the entrance ramp, and immediately his shoulder flies off into the crowd, arm flailing through the air. No, obviously, I hope not. So yes, Sami Zayn, after probably having been beaten by Shinsuke Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas, he's in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and here are a couple of spots from that match. All 4 members of the Social Outcasts eliminating the Big Show early on because, ha ha ha, he's a giant. Braun Strowman, he goes crazy, eliminates a lot of guys. Braun Strowman, he's tall. Mark Henry going on a tear. This is important because the announcers are playing up. This might be Mark Henry's last ever WrestleMania, and he's a homeboy, Silsby, Texas boy. Homeboy,
That's
Texas,
a lot
Silsby,
of beefy guys going on a
homeboy.
rampage.
So the final 4 are number 4, The Miz, who eliminated Damien Sandow, number 5, to really get the heat on The Miz. Then you've got number 3, Braun Strowman, number 2, Mark Henry, and number 1, Sami Zayn. Mark Henry and Braun Strowman get into it in the middle of the ring. Strowman puts Mark Henry in his weird hug sleeper hold thing. Mark Henry powers out of it, picks him up, world's strongest slam, and then he eliminates Braun Strowman. And in the middle of the ring, he holds up the hook 'em horns because Texas. And then from behind, The Miz low blows him, eliminates Mark Henry, and then he throws up the hook 'em horns because dickhead. Which leaves The Miz versus Sami Zayn. The Miz is posturing, he's like, you should get out of here because I'm great, I got the face. And then Sami Zayn haluva kicks him right the f*** into the front row. Bye! Sami Zayn wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Daniel Bryan comes out to celebrate with Sami Zayn, the 2 biggest underdogs in the world, celebrating at the beginning of Wrestlemania. Huzzah. Welcome to the main roster, Sami Zayn. Then comes match number 2, a triple threat for the IC title, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. So as of filming, remember it's on the 9th of February, AJ and Chris Jericho are getting into a thing. Chris Jericho's come back looking like the world's worst magician dad, and him and AJ are having a bit of a friendly rivalry, although they have started brawling a lot. So at the moment they're scheduled for a rematch on SmackDown. Of course, this should boil over with Jericho turning heel on AJ Styles, and that leads to a match at Fastlane, which Styles wins with the Styles Clash. After Fastlane, however, Kevin Owens is the new Intercontinental Champion. I'll explain that later, and AJ Styles sets his sights on him after he eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. However, heel Jericho is now heel, and he won't let up, claiming that Styles almost broke his neck, playing off the fact that Styles Clash is a really dangerous move in real life, and heel Jericho goes after his 10th IC title reign. So AJ Styles wins a number 1 contenders match for the IC title on Raw, and Chris Jericho worms his way in with the Authority to get himself added to the match, so it's a triple threat between 3 amazing workers. After a nice long match, Jericho cheats to win, pinning AJ Styles, and now Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, maybe his last, who knows, Chris Jericho is the 10-time Intercontinental Champion, which is a nice round number and a good record for people to want to break.
So far.
Now, people are complaining that's AJ being buried at WrestleMania. First of all, AJ's going to be around for years, and now he's got a nice long feud with Chris Jericho ahead of him. Next up, it's the
That
tag
culminated
team
in
title match.
SummerSlam,
It's the New
which
Day
we were.
versus Enzo and Big Cass. So it's been reported that these guys are hanging out backstage on Raw and SmackDown, and these guys, after Fastlane, debut. The New Day come out after a big kind of multi-tag team match at Fastlane, and they say, "We've beaten everyone on the roster." Booty. Now, who is left to step up to the New Day? Come on out and introduce yourself. Out comes Enzo Amore and Big Cass. "My name is Enzo Amore." So the New Day use their numbers advantage to constantly beat down Enzo and Cass and remind everyone that these guys were a mainstay on NXT but could never win the tag team titles. They bring up TakeOver London, they bring up the fact they've been there for years, longer than any other tag team, and could never get it done. So, WrestleMania, out comes Enzo, "My name is Enzo Amore," with everyone joining in. What a sight to be seen. Then out come the New Day as the champions, doing their own version of that shtick. And this right here is Big E, and he's hashtag booty, and you can't teach that. At the end of the match, Enzo and Big Cass finally unseat the New Day to become the tag team champions, finally winning the big one on the biggest stage of them all. Next up, it wouldn't be WrestleMania without a huge multi-man ladder match, and this one is for the US title. So we've got Kalisto, Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, not Stardust, Del Rio, Sin Cara, and Neville. Yes, all of those. Now this is part of a plan to make the US title a little bit more of a flippy title, a little bit more cruiserweight. Because there's no real point in having US versus Intercontinental title. I mean, they're both secondary titles. You need to give each belt its own flavor. I mean, if the WWE World Heavyweight title is the one for the big, powerhouse, superstars, if the IC title is the one for the technicians, then why not have the US title be for the cruiserweights? Or, for the people who are just slightly more aerobic and slightly more impressive. And we use this ladder match to showcase that. Kalisto goes in as a champion, and his big rivalry is with Del Rio still, and this would seem mad, but I would actually have Sin Cara walk away with the belt. Now I know Sin Cara's been something of like a vacuum for ages, but why not try and change that? And the Lucha Dragons can't last forever. Kalisto is going to be his own man. He is the rightful heir to Rey Mysterio. So what better way to kind of push that along than with a proper breakup of the Lucha Dragons? So Del Rio is lying on the outside of the ring on this ladder, and Kalisto is climbing to the top, and he's almost got the belt when Sin Cara calls up to him and convinces Kalisto to jump on Del Rio, the bad blood between the two guys. And Kalisto says, "Come on, jump, steal the show, steal WrestleMania." Kalisto can get the biggest spot of the card, but he sacrifices himself to do it after urging from Sin Cara. And then Sin Cara looks down at his fallen friend who's gone straight through the ladder, through Del Rio, and he looks at him, looks at the belt, climbs to the top, and retrieves it. So the announcer can be like, "What the hell? Sin Cara what did he just do to his tag team partner?" Then, at Extreme Rules, maybe a mask versus mask situation, because why not? So we end part one of this video with a match, the first main event of WrestleMania that no one thought was going to happen, which is Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey. In Steph's corner, her weird old dad, Vince McMahon. In Ronda Rousey's corner, The Rock. Now, loads of people think this isn't going to happen, mostly because Dana White came out and said this isn't going to happen. But after it's come out that Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm are not going to have their rematch in July, Ronda Rousey instead is going to be filming Roadhouse, a movie she can shill at WrestleMania, by the way, then it frees up her to do a little bit of something like this. And obviously, Dana White is a showman. He knows where the money is. He knows what he can get out of this deal. If by getting Ronda Rousey, WWE have to say UFC 20 times in about 20 minutes, then they're going to do it. I mean, they're not going to make Ronda look stupid. They're going to make her look incredibly dominant. They can build up a rematch with Holly Holm. They can build up Roadhouse. Basically, no one loses here. And there's one important thing that this match accomplishes, which is Steph get some comeuppance. Now, one of a lot of people's problem with Steph as this huge heel figure is that in this era where it's incredibly frowned upon for men to put their hands on women, and rightfully so, I don't think anyone really wants to see that on TV, Stephanie McMahon gets no comeuppance. Sure, she gets a little bit embarrassed at times, like, you know, vicariously through her husband being beaten up, or, you know, that brief month where the Authority was fired, a month. But she never gets any lasting physical comeuppance. No one ever hands her an ass for being a biatch. There's never any proper cathartic retaliation, and Steph can exploit this. She can come out with her weird old leather coin purse of a dad and being like, no one can touch me, or I'll have them all fired. She brings up what happened last WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey, and she said, well, Ronda, look what happened to you since. I haven't been beaten since then. Have you? She stepped to me, and now a year later, not so bad anymore. So Steph is reveling in her power, and then out comes The Rock. If you smell... So it turns out The Rock has been training a new protege. No, not Roman Reigns. He's Poison. He's actually been training up for wrestling Ronda Rousey. Now, The Rock's full motivations will be explained in the next video, but needless to say, he has a reason for wanting to see the Authority get their ass kicked. And he's been helping out Ronda. Now, it worked for Tyson when he was at his low. The company brought him in, and he did great work for the company, and vice versa. And that's why Ronda Rousey is here. So at WrestleMania, Rousey versus McMahon. Obviously, McMahon stacks the deck. She brings in as many female bodyguards as she can. Ronda Rousey goes through each and every one of them, and then she finally makes Stephanie McMahon tap out to an armbar in the middle of the ring. And for good measure, Vince McMahon eats a rock bottom from The Rock. The Rock and Rousey connection stand tall, and that is the end of part 1. Part 2 is nothing but main events. Come back very shortly. How do you think WrestleMania is going so far?
Not bad, taking the fact that he's trying to just legitimately use what is left. See, of course, if I can bring up the second one real quick. So I'm actually going to just do a live run through on this. Alright, there we go. We'll do the last one. It's 18 minutes. Make sure I've got everything set down at lower quality because he's just this tiny box in the corner of the screen.
Hello there, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is how WWE should book. Right, take it.
While I got that loading up a little bit, not bad overall. I think it's definitely a workable card. The Daniel Bryan bit, helping him get over Sami Zayn, I could see that. I could see that works well. Too bad Enzo and Big E didn't get a call-up. I think they would be a great night after WrestleMania call-up. Because I don't picture them, you know, having that giant, here's your big moment sort of thing. I would actually love to see them win the belts at TakeOver Dallas. I believe they're in a match against the Mechanics. I'm a little behind on NXT. I'd like to see them be the NXT champions. And then the next night on Raw, after the New Day have beaten League of Nations, which actually could be decent. If anything, it would solidify the New Day firm with more of a tweener status, because it'd be heels against the faces, and then essentially it would be the faces against this group of claptrap thrown together heels. So, not bad. I think that doing 2 fatal 4-ways for no more contendership matches, I like that. I do like those sort of matches. I do like triple threats for, you know, here's how you do your next big one. Ronda Stephanie McMahon. The problem with having Stephanie get her comeuppance by someone who's going to be the celebrity is it still doesn't really affect things much. I mean, when she got laid out last year by Ronda Rousey, not people went, oh, that's it, it's on, she did it. No, it was kind of like, oh, only the celebs get to affect them. If only they had done more with some of the other women, it would be interesting to see, you know, if Nikki were to come back, Nikki be the one to actually truly beat down Stephanie McMahon. You know, if they really want to push Becky Lynch to the moon, I think that if you were to have, then you have the Authority get involved in women's matches, which they really don't do very often, unless, I could say maybe more of a SummerSlam sort of thing, where they could talk about, here's the anniversary of the of the Divas Revolution, talk through some of those different things, and you have it be, you know, I brought in Charlotte, I brought in Becky Lynch, I brought in Sasha. Two of them have held the belt. Becky, how come you haven't? Which could be a great way to segue Becky, who of course would be at this time the greatest babyface in the Divas division, less than Bray and Bayley. And then you could have her be the one to beat Stephanie McMahon. Again, that's a long term, that's more of a SummerSlam sort of thing. I think it worked pretty well. The triple threat match with Owens, Styles, and Jericho. I don't know. I think Styles and Jericho as a tag team will give Styles a little bit more longevity. And I do think that if they were to want to do their blow up, you know, post and have Styles be the one to win the IC title, therefore leading into after Jericho does his tours and stuff, and it's the bands does the band bit during summer, and then do SummerSlam, have those two have their match. Could be pretty interesting. I think even as a tag team would work pretty well. There's just enough other tag teams I think they could work pretty well against. Of course, the problem too is he's got Wyatt taking on Brock, which could work, maybe, kind of. But if he did this video post Fastlane, which I don't think he did, you know, they're damaged goods right now. But all in all, not bad. It's, you know, decent.
An angle from now to the future, then challenge WWE to do it better, because I'm a smartass. This time, how WWE should book WrestleMania 32, Part 2. So we get to Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. So obviously at Fastlane, Bray Wyatt and his gang of spooky, hairy, Duck Dynasty, spooky, dude, biker, hairy, bayou boys are going to cost Brock Lesnar the chance to meet Triple H in the main event. It makes sense, it's no DQ, and it's a sort of grudge that Lesnar won't be able to shake. Now, I know a lot of people don't want this match because they don't want Bray Wyatt to lose 3 WrestleManias in a row, and to be honest, he's not going to win here, but sometimes it's not about wins and losses. Don't get me wrong, wins and losses do count. If you hand someone nothing but losses, it does. But we have the opportunity to do a whole lot of good for Bray Wyatt here. First of all, he'll be sharing microphone time with Paul Heyman. Now, Bray Wyatt is an amazing performer, but he's not the best at structuring his own promos. So Paul Heyman can take him under his wing, cut all the filler, nonsensical riddle bullshit, and just say, Bray, what is it you want to say? Okay, we're going to write this promo together, you, me, do-do-do-do-do. They can craft absolute magic on the stick. If Bray Wyatt can leave this feud having had proper promo lessons by Paul Heyman, then he's set. 2, Bray Wyatt is a really stiff fighter. He's hard hitting, you know, his running tackle, his choke slam. He can be stiff as so putting him in a match with Brock Lesnar, it will actually be something to see. There's plenty of opportunities for both men to look like the Beast. After all, countering Sister Abigail into a German suplex, that just writes itself. So, how to not bury the Wyatt family? Well, first of all, you're not burying the Wyatt family if you feature them in a marquee match at WrestleMania, just to, you know, make that point. Second of all, have it be a no-holds-barred match. Because, you know, it's a grudge. They cost Lesnar the belt. He wants to tear Bray Wyatt's hat off and shove it up his bum so his hat becomes his beard. Animate that for me, Sam. If it's no holds barred, the family can dominate Brock Lesnar for a lot of the match and everyone can get their licks in. Rowan, Harper, yes, Braun Strowman, and Bray Wyatt. There can be moments where they are just dominating him and looking ferocious as they do it. You know, have the commentary team do their job. Have them sell the fact, I've never seen Brock Lesnar take a beating like this. My God, Maggle. Finally, however, Brock Lesnar, of course, fights back. Everyone takes an F5, especially Braun Strowman. Rowan, F5. Luke Harper, F5. Braun Strowman, F5. Then Bray Wyatt catches him with a Sister Abigail for a very close 2 count. Brock Lesnar fights back into it, counters another Sister Abigail into an F5, 1, 2, 3. Next up, the Divas title, Sasha versus Charlotte. This is going to be a good one. So there are 2 big stories going into this match. 1, Sasha Banks is awesome, and 2, Charlotte is really getting upset with her dad. So Ric Flair, the original Dirty Grandpa, has been walking with Charlotte through her title reign so far. He's been helping her out, shucking and jiving, doing that. And basically, you know, he's so happy to see his little girl becoming him. And he's got tears in his eyes at all times. But he started accidentally costing Charlotte. Like you've seen on past Raws, she's been getting annoyed with him because he's been, you know, doing his thing on the ring apron, and that cost her a victory against Brie Bella, say. So she can be like, her dad is taking up too much of the spotlight. In backstage interviews, she could ask her dad to leave the frame. She can spin the story that she's sick of her dad clinging to her to just relive his past success. You know, that rings uncomfortably true. So we're at Mania. Sasha has had to fend off Naomi and Tamina for weeks, so she's got a bit of underdog momentum. Charlotte crushed, unfortunately, Brie Bella at Fastlane. Look, I'm sorry, but you can't put the title on Brie just because Daniel Bryan retired. That's a horribly callous thing to say, but right now the money match is Charlotte versus Sasha. It just is. So at the end of the match, Ric Flair messes up some interference, accidentally distracts Charlotte. Sasha Banks locks in the bank statement, makes Charlotte tap out. We have a new Divas champion. Sasha walks up to the back, holds up her belt, and Charlotte then kicks the crap out of her dad. She knocks him down, makes him cry, slaps him in the face. You know, Ric Flair would love to do this. He can cry at the drop of a hat. She screams at him, "You're no father of mine," and leaves him a crying mess in the middle of the ring. This sets up Sasha versus Naomi for the title, and it sets up Charlotte versus another diva that, say, Ric Flair decides to manage. Maybe Ric Flair decides to manage Becky, and that leads to a big feud between Charlotte and Becky. Then we have the Hall of Fame class, headed up by Sting.
Face in the world.
That's just nice. So we've got the penultimate main event. It's the Undertaker match. We need a really good opponent for the Undertaker, and that is heel Roman Reigns. So The Undertaker's been on a retirement tour since July. You know, he's done the last everything. The last SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Hell in a Cell. He didn't do the last Royal Rumble. So maybe there's truth to the rumors that The Undertaker is going to be at WrestleMania this year, but he's going to do one more WrestleMania next year to face John Cena, because that is the dream match, and that will be his retirement match. But we're in Texas. And they're just, I know John Cena is out, and like if he tries to get back, if he does his mutant Wolverine superhuman healing factor powers, if he gets back, this will be the match. But 3 months after a projected 6-month minimum. Anyway, it can't be John Cena. So let's have the next best thing, the next most useful thing, what's best for business, have The Undertaker be retired by Roman Reigns. Because The Undertaker's streak is no more. The Undertaker has given that to Brock Lesnar. But there is one last thing The Undertaker can give, one last huge burst of either momentum or heat he can pass along to another superstar, and that is the honor, the ignoble glory of retiring the dead man. So Fastlane, there's a triple threat match, and Roman Reigns is facing the 2 most over baby faces in the company for some reason, and honestly, creative expect him to get cheered by doing this. For months, the Authority have been dicking around Roman Reigns, you know, holding the title near him and then whipping it away just when he's got his fingers on it, and he's starting to get really pissed off. The problem with Roman Reigns is he never seems to take anything seriously. He's graduated from the John Cena school of babyfaces of being, shucks, losses don't mean nothing to me. I'm just happy to be out here in front of the fans. Smile. No, Roman Reigns has to be PO'd that he keeps getting dicked around. A note to WWE, heroes don't just smile all the time. Heroes are passionate, they are righteous, and they get righteously off with injustice. So in the last SmackDown Raw and SmackDown before Fastlane, Roman Reigns just gets the absolute pudding kicked out of him by Lesnar, the Wyatt, the League of Nations, and he's just like, I just want my title for sake. So, the Wyatts take out Lesnar from the match. They clobber him around and they carry out a prone Lesnar. So, it's just Ambrose versus Reigns. The two brothers, like it's been since the Shield broke up, like it was at SummerSlam, at Night of Champions, like it was at Survivor Series, like it almost was at the Royal Rumble. These two guys, and it's always been Roman Reigns, it's always been him that seemed like he was going to be the next big guy. And you can see something in Roman Reigns' eyes. You can see he's like, I am not losing this title now. I am not gonna lose it again. And he starts wrestling heel. He starts taking Ambrose's head, his friend's head, and smashing it into the turnbuckle, into the floor. There's something in his eyes. The commentator's saying, I've never seen Reigns wrestle like this. He's wrestling heel. The referee has to pull him off Ambrose, and Ambrose is looking at him being like, dude, I get it, but what the hell are you doing? This will turn the crowd even more against Reigns, and they're gonna be against Reigns. Then, after the referee has pulled Roman Reigns off Ambrose and Reigns has pushed the referee over, then Ambrose catches Reigns in a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Ambrose is going to WrestleMania and Roman Reigns is just like... He just looks at Ambrose. Ambrose looks at him being like, look, what? And then Roman Reigns just spears Ambrose. And he just beats him up. And beats him up, and beats him up. He kicks the crap out of his friend because in his mind, he's been betrayed by Ambrose. It's truly one versus all. You're no friend to me. He puts Dean through the announce table, leaves him laying, and turned heel. On Raw, Roman Reigns comes out to speak his mind, and all this frustration comes out. He talks about, no matter what I did for the fans, you booed me. I won the Royal Rumble. You booed me. I stood with The Rock. You booed me. I tried, like, acting like the good guy. I tried taking it to the Authority. You cheered me for a little bit, and then you booed me again. What is it I'm supposed to do? You know what? Fine, I don't want any part of you. I don't want any part of the people who wanted to cancel the WWE network just because I was trying to do my best. This is fine.
The weirdest thing is that when fans, at his height,
I don't need friends,
babyface,
and I don't need family.
Hate their lives.
Out comes The Rock. And The Rock is like, what the hell is wrong with you? What do you mean you don't need family? The Rock says, Roman, you are blood of my blood. You cannot turn your back on these people, and Roman Reigns spears The Rock. Because it's always been about the people with The Rock, hasn't it? It's never been about Roman Reigns. It's always been about them, the people's champion. I tried to be the people's champion. The people want none of me, so I want none of them. All of this stuff writes itself because Roman Reigns just hasn't been able to get over properly with the fans. Roman Reigns turns his back on The Rock. The Rock blames Triple H and the Authority for doing this to Roman, to driving him out of his mind, which gives Rock more motivation in his match Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon. He hates the Authority and what they've done. Reigns talks about how he's the new face of the company and everyone should just get used to that. He says he could kick John Cena's ass, he could kick The Rock's ass, he could kick Triple H's ass. There's no legend he couldn't destroy. Gone. Out comes The Undertaker. The Undertaker says, you call yourself the big dog of WWE, a hound of justice? Don't forget who the big dog is. And don't forget whose yard you're standing in. You want to prove you're the best in this company? You've got to destroy the Phenom. And Roman Reigns initially wants no part of this match, but he agrees to it if The Undertaker puts his career on the line. Now at this point, you leak it saying that The Undertaker has delayed his retirement until he can face John Cena. So everyone goes into this thinking that Undertaker is going to beat Roman Reigns. At WrestleMania, Roman Reigns low blows The Undertaker after a long match and hits him with 1, 2, 3 spears in a row and pins him.
See, the problem with the spears is not a move you can do.
And then he continues to beat him up after the match until people have to drag him away. And then the heat should hopefully be nuclear. Because ultimately, a heel Roman Reigns is what's best for business. Because honestly, what draws more money? A babyface whom only half of the universe are behind, or a heel who everyone wants to pay to see their ass get kicked. So, last match, World Heavyweight title match, Triple H versus Dean Ambrose. The story for Ambrose is right there. It's right there. For most of 2015, he's been millimeters away. He's had his fingertips on the belt. And he's been screwed by the Authority from step one, ever since the Shield broke up. And who gave the assassination order? Triple H. The Authority screwed him out of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Ambrose had that won. And then Ambrose had it won at Elimination Chamber, but it was reversed on a technicality. Then Ambrose had it won at Money in the Bank, but the title just slipped out of his fingers. Ambrose almost had it won at Survivor Series, but he couldn't quite make it. Ambrose almost had it won at Royal Rumble, but Triple H got rid of him. Ambrose is the true blue-collar hero. He's the guy that's been slapped around for all year by the Authority. He deserves it way more than Roman Reigns at this point. The fans have been desperate for Dean Ambrose to get serious, to cut the goofball shtick, and to become this pissed-off son of a bitch that he was in his feud of the year with Rollins in 2014. So, step one, Triple H forces Dean Ambrose to not only fight in the main event at Fastlane, but earlier that night, defend his IC title against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens beats him, walks away with the IC title. Kevin Owens attacks Dean Ambrose before the match even starts, injures him, and uses that momentum to win the title off him. Then Ambrose goes into the match, the triple threat match at the end of Fastlane, taped up, but he still comes away with a victory. You know, he's starting to really look like a hero who has put in
Bryan.
Endurance, unlike they let Roman Reigns do at Royal Rumble. I don't hate Roman Reigns, by the way, it's just he's been booked so badly that it just doesn't make sense for him to be the hero at this point. After Fastlane, Triple H doesn't take Ambrose seriously. He's just like, you're just a lunatic, you'll never be the face of this company. And Ambrose is like, yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. Have you seen the way Ambrose has been acting with Brock Lesnar? He looks amazing. He looks like the kind of guy who gets slapped down and keeps coming back up. Slapped down, but won't stay dead. He's the new Mick Foley. Ambrose says, I'm more dangerous than you can possibly imagine. Destroys Triple H's office, destroys Triple H's car, you know, all the usual stuff. So Triple H is on the Titantron and Ambrose is in the ring, and Triple H is a little bit worried about this unhinged lunatic, so he says, Dean, I've got a little insurance policy. You see, at the Mania match, I'm going to have a special guest referee, someone who is a little close to me. Dean Ambrose turns around into sweet-ching music from Shawn Michaels. HBK will be the special guest referee. So Dean Ambrose decides to get a little help from his own. He decides to add a special enforcer to the match, someone to be in his corner. And that is a guy who's also had run-ins with a suited authority figure, who is a blue-collar hero who enjoys a beer now and again. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Triple H versus Ambrose, special guest referee Shawn Michaels, with Austin in Ambrose's corner. So it's Mania, out comes Ambrose looking determined, out comes Triple H descending from the heavens on a lion made of giant testicles. So we're in the match and Shawn Michaels is obviously favouring Triple H. Triple H low blows Dean Ambrose, but there's no DQ from the ref. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds, but Shawn Michaels refuses to count. Then Triple H rolls up Dean Ambrose and there's a fast count, but he doesn't quite get to the 3 before Stone Cold Steve Austin pulls Michaels out of the ring. They get into it, Steve Austin gets in Michaels' face, eats a sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels, who rushes back into the ring as Triple H hits Ambrose with a pedigree. He goes 1, 2, Ambrose kicks out. Triple H goes for another pedigree, Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds, HBK refuses to count again, but he turns around into a stunner from Steve Austin. Then Triple H, he gets a stunner, he hits the stunner, doesn't fall down, turns around into a second Dirty Deeds, Ambrose covers him, a second referee races down, 1, 2, 3. Ambrose is finally the champion, and Steve Austin raises his hand and the two share a beer on the grandest stage of them all. There could be a rematch, and then who's next in line but the top heel in the company, Roman Reigns. Whew! And I am done. That is how I would...
Overall, not bad. I will say I do prefer Ambrose versus Triple H. I think that ends up being a much better main event. Look at what we've got now. Wyatt still have nothing currently going on, which I don't understand why you don't want to have the Wyatts doing anything. Undertaker versus Shane with the company on the line is different. I'm kind of okay with it. That could be a pretty good match. Making it a Hell in a Cell means that you're going to throw anybody you want to in that match. Ideally, if they're dead set on Roman Reigns' face. I will say if there's a way of doing this. Depending on how they lay out who's fighting. Triple H will be the main event. It's the title. Even though logical booking, I would almost rather have it be the Hell in a Cell match, your final match. Because currently we've only really got three matches booked. Roman Reigns, Triple H. I'll be honest. If they were to be smart, you have Triple H beat him. I think there's so much more to Roman Reigns' story is not successful. You know, if you win, you be a three-time champion. Since Survivor Series, he will be a three-time champion. At a lot of times of belt. I would rather see him lose that match. So I think if he loses middle of the ring, and your final moments end up being Triple H celebrating, walking out of the belt over his head, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns in the ring, beaten, crumpled man. And that's then when you don't have Roman Reigns heel, you need to turn heel. So you have Roman Reigns loses. I will have Dean Ambrose do his absolute best to try to beat Brock Lesnar, and put in one of those like he's just getting balled left and right. He's getting the occasional low win on Lesnar. And he's making it seem competitive. But he's taking on an absolute monster of an individual. So I do have him losing. I have him losing. So he's lost. Roman Reigns has lost. We finally get to the last big Hell in a Cell, where it's all on the line in this match. I would play Triple H from the back. He's did it. Roman Reigns is the champion. Then Vince go. But you know, if Shane beats the Undertaker, it's all pointless. Then I'd be like, it's not gonna happen. Don't worry, we got this. So then, matches going on. Taker's beat lights out of Shane. You have a guy clad back that kind of sneaks up underneath the ring. So he's in there. Taker's going for a choke slam. There's the diving flying knee. As people are like, wait a minute. The guy just hit a big sweeping flying knee. Very much like Seth Rollins. You've got now Taker's kind of wobbly. Big super kick. Guy pulls off the mask. Dolph Ziggler. Why? Because now you call back Survivor Series when Dolph Ziggler would help actually authority. Not enough. Taker has annihilated back to beating the daylights out of Shane. By this time, Triple H made it out of the ring. Because now you got Triple H. You've got Vince. They're both rings out. Okay. We got to keep other people from that ring. Triple H annihilating Ziggler. Okay. Ziggler tossed out of the cage. Now as that's going on, that's when Roman Reigns come down. Roman Reigns has to look like the big triumphant hero. What's he do? Spears Triple H. Finished taking care of Ziggler. Cage still open. You know what? Triple H can't get inside there. Roman Reigns comes through another crowd. Big spear to Triple H. Triple H is down. Vince McMahon is there. Superman punches Vince McMahon. You have him roll. Now, you get your Roman Reigns Undertaker moment. Roman Reigns is just a house of fire. I don't care if you have him in a chair in the ring, but he obliterates the Undertaker. He can even hold the chair from coast to coast, which eventually leads to Triple H trying to get back into the ring. Roman Reigns relives what he did at TLC, bludgeons the daylights out of Triple H. Vince McMahon gets up, he hits Vince McMahon with the chair, and you have him just destroy everybody trying to get into that ring, as well as making sure that Shane McMahon defeats the Undertaker. Now all of a sudden, he's not champion, but the crowd will be behind him because of what he did. Now all of a sudden you go back and be like, oh, Roman Reigns. You go back to the guy that was off for 2 weeks, who whooped the daylight out of the Authority. And you know what? He's lost a couple matches. Big deal. Next time on Raw, with the Authority's there, and Shane McMahon more or less disbands the Authority. Takes control of Raw. Then books a match for Triple H. Triple H will now defend his title twice in one night. Once against Roman Reigns, who technically didn't get his proper rematch, and then against Dean Ambrose, who was the last non-champion when it came to the Royal Rumble. And what you have him do is he faces them one after another. So pretty much, he'll take on either Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose first. Winner of that match goes on to take another guy. There you go. There ends up being your pay-per-view, your main event for Extreme Rules. Those 3 guys are going to have 2 matches. Whoever wins the belt has to defend the belt again right afterwards. And if you really want to, you can have it end up being Dean Ambrose versus Triple H first. I would put Ambrose over H, and then when you have Roman Reigns come down, I would actually put Ambrose over Reigns. Or, if you want to keep it going, you end up having Roman Reigns beat Ambrose. Ambrose gets to then challenge the next month, which then eventually leads to SummerSlam, where Triple H come back and say, you know what? Yep, you became champion, but you never beat me. Then your SummerSlam match, Roman Reigns, Triple H for the championship, that's being the main event. Triple H is still pissed that the Authority's gone. Roman Reigns still has that anger that he never actually had to beat Triple H. Triple H has beat him beat him all the time. It actually makes him a bit of an underdog. And the reason why you're going to have Ambrose go over H is because it makes sense and it's a good story. You have Ambrose then get a fluke victory over Roman Reigns, to then push the, you know what? Maybe it's my time now. Get another pay-per-view between that time and SummerSlam. That's your Roman Reigns get the title off of him. The little Triple H Roman Reigns match. Survivor Series. You then fully do the crowning moment at SummerSlam. You put it in front of a crowd that's a little bit more partial to Roman Reigns, especially if he was the one who helped defeat the Authority. And you throw Ziggler in there because Ziggler needs to be some part of that. Whether you want to doing, Ziggler gets involved somehow, but he had a pretty good part when he was originally running the Authority. So they're probably saying, well, why is he have Sting come in and attack Undertaker? I don't think it's time for Sting. I don't think we're really ready for Sting Undertaker. The moment's passed. Well, Seth Rollins comes back. If Seth Rollins comes back, then you know what? Seth Rollins has a pretty good bone to pick with Triple H. Then if you really want to, then your SummerSlam can go a Fatal 4 elimination match, where it's Ambrose, Rollins, Triple H, Roman Reigns. Or you end up finding a way to continue, and then you have Triple H facing Ambrose. You have Triple H face Roman Reigns twice. The last person to take on says you be Seth Rollins. You then find your next big pay-per-view, and you then have that be the moment you put where Triple H falls to Rollins. Triple H will eventually end up falling to Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns to fully put them over. So I like what he did. I think in a perfect world, Ambrose would be the guy in the main event, but he's not. So I think with those 3 matches, you can do things that make logical enough sense to kind of go to SummerSlam, given the fact that almost everyone else is out with a shoulder injury.